Welcome to the Trades Podcast, a podcast about the business of home improvement and promoting the trades to young adults.
Yes. What's up, everybody? It's a great day. I'm Danny.
And I'm Jeff.
And we got a kick-ass, a huge recording today. No pun intended. Because we got Greg Schmitt. Greg Schmitt's back with Huge Handyman. I'm just stoked. Greg, he's a great guy, and we've been networking with each other for a while now, and just happy to have him back.
Good to be here, guys. Thanks for having me.
No. Been looking forward to it, Greg. You got a lot of things going on. We want to hear about it.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely.
Yeah, it's been a huge year.
Yeah, huge year. But even for those that haven't heard your previous podcast or just know specifically who you are in the business, go ahead and introduce yourself so we can make sure everybody, for all those new listeners.
So my name's Greg. I started a company called Huge Handyman back in 2020. I was an event producer, making event setups at like places like the Super Bowl, college football playoffs. And once COVID shut all that down, I started my business working in people's homes, hanging pictures, putting together furniture. I got my license in 2022. And then at that point, I was able to start hiring technicians to work for the company. And since then, we've grown it to 7 technicians, a full-time office person, a part-time office person, and we just recently moved into our commercial space. So we're growing.
Awesome.
Huge. Awesome. That's going to be our main vocabulary today. Huge. That's huge. It's great. That's again, we'll put your previous episode so people can go back and listen to this and then come back and hear some updates that you have. But between since then and now, give us the breakdown. What's been something that's new that you'd want people to know about the company and what's happening right now?
Well, there's been a lot of learning opportunities since I talked to you guys, and then until now. We had a lot of learning lessons this last year. One thing in particular is just how to run the business in general. By the end of last year, we actually made no money. So that was being able to navigate what that actually feels like. I remember the last time I was on your guys' episode, I started networking with other handyman companies, and they were telling me about how hard it was to maintain their margins. And I really didn't internalize it until I felt it myself from the business side. And so I had to make a lot of hard decisions at the beginning of this year. I was getting some bad advice, business advice from some consultants and things like that. And so anyways, tightened things up quite a bit. And then it was kind of a pruning season for the business. Once we were able to make those changes, the business exploded. Our revenue went up like 60, 70%. Our net profit went from 0% to just a little bit under 20%. And I learned a lot about how to really analyze my books and look at KPIs to analyze the business, how to manage my technicians better. And along the way, I feel like I've matured a lot just in that I've been able to, I have a lot of good advice about what not to do for people that are trying to make that step. Cause there's such a huge step from going from being yourself to having the responsibility of having employees. And then once you have those employees, managing that process in a way where everyone is like happy and you're able to like have a life outside of your business, and it doesn't destroy your marriage. And we've been real fortunate that I've been able to, it's not a mountaintop moment for me at all right now, but I was able to kind of get through that season. It didn't destroy my life. I'm still here. We're thriving. And, now when I talk to other business owners that are maybe in that still like by themselves or have just one or two employees, I can really impart some valuable knowledge that comes, that I kind of just learned the hard way.
Absolutely. So you've graduated from getting up super early, going to the supply store, getting all the materials, meeting a helper or two on the job site, putting your 8 or 9 hours in, then coming back and doing a bid and the books and all that.
Yeah, exactly. Like, at this point, if you see me in the field, it means that there's a staffing shortage, or there's like some sort of problem. I really don't serve the business well being in the field. It's not my strong suit. I don't have my work vehicle is a crossover SUV that does not, it has like leather seats in it. So like I don't need to be hauling lumber, things like that. Like it was last time I was in the field was about a month and a half ago, and we just had everyone was out, and I just needed to get this guy's doors painted. And to be honest, I didn't do the best job, so I sent one of my guys back like the following Monday. I should have just waited and told them to go back Monday, or just to reschedule or something, because but anyways, they were cool. The doors came out great. But while it's tough. Like, I mean, you run into these same problems when you're doing your own, working in the field and trying to generate the business. You are the business. The trying to generate the jobs, like answer the phone calls. It's just you can't do anything well. So like you have to do that when you start. Like, there's no way around it. But you need to try and get out of that as like soon as possible. And I just it kind of was that day. I just remembered how hard that was. The people that are calling me, they're not getting 100% of my attention. My job isn't getting 100% of my attention. And so now we're in a little bit better spot where I'm still working in the business, but just more on like sales and producing the jobs.
Fantastic. That's great to hear the growth.
Mm-hmm.
Danny said that's huge.
It is.
Yeah, the progression is a key thing. Yeah. Go ahead, Jeff.
Well, one of the things I wanted to, you brought up KPIs, key performance indicators. How'd you start doing that stuff through coaching, and what are some of the top 2 or 3 that you use, Greg?
Well, I basically have been listening to podcasts, and there's a lot of people that will tell you, oh, you got to do KPIs, you got to dial in on your KPIs, and that you can kind of get in the weeds with it, where you're spending all your time calculating the KPIs. You're spending all your and then you're doing ones that aren't really impactful or don't really measure anything. And so how I started calculating them is I had previously hired some consultants to help with my business. I would recommend anyone that's doing like less than $5 million a year, like, do not hire consultants. Like, it's going to be too expensive, and you're not going to get what you're hoping out of it. So, but there's so many good resources out there that are going to be more general, that are going to help you. Is all my point. I don't mean that like consultants don't know what they're talking about, but you can, consultant is going to charge you a little bit a premium for being more individual attention, where you can like do something like Breakthrough Academy or like the Contractor Fight School, and they're going to tell you about all this stuff, all this KPI stuff, and you can pick stuff that's you don't need this like individual attention. But anyways, I'll get off my soapbox. The KPIs that I started to figure out are just the ones that my CRM produces for me, because I don't have time to sit there and go through all my leads and then calculate like what percentage of those. Like, I have a spreadsheet that we put all the leads into, and so I can kind of see the number, but like that stuff isn't really important. The most important stuff when you're my size is your average ticket and your conversion rate. Those are the biggest ones. Like, we don't have like a booking rate, because we don't send our technicians just we don't go from like phone call to send people directly to the property without like first vetting the job and the customer, and making sure it's a good fit for us. So that KPI isn't super important. However, I know some people that are doing like Tommy Mello. He would tell you, oh, your booking rate's super important. Not for my business. But the average ticket is super important. Like, how much are you, like, on average, how much are you charging? Because then you can really dial down to how many jobs you need to do this year to like grow from like X amount to this amount, you know. And then your quote conversion rate, how many quotes you're sending out, and how many of those are actually converting into jobs. Like we're small enough, or those two things are really enough for our business. We do have other ones that we keep track of, like the how many times somebody's late, you know, how many leads are coming in. It's really important to know the information, but just being honest, like even where I'm at, where I'm spending most of my time in the office, I don't go into my leads thing every week and be like, oh, I got, you know, 500 leads or whatever. Like it's just, it's got too much stuff going on. So I just focus on our average ticket. And then once we get more of like an operations manager role, I'll be able to kind of like take another step up and like really dial into like more of the marketing costs and things like that.
Are you doing 100% of the consulting and the sales?
Yeah, right now, or maybe like 99%. My technicians are trained to look for upselling opportunities while they're going through, and then issue change orders that are, you know, under a certain amount of money. But for the most part, I'm doing most of my sales.
Fantastic. Yeah, you don't want to grade yourself too much right now.
Yeah, exactly. And it that's one of those. I see a lot of guys that have you know, the scale your business and all that stuff. They tell you that like sales is one of the, you know, there's a couple replacement things you need to do before you replace the sales, because I mean that's the blood of your business, like the money coming in, and so you need to be really careful about it. Like I had previously, we had somebody in like an operations manager role, and he wasn't like a super good fit for that, because that in the field managing role really needs to also help with sales, because they're going to be the ones interacting with the customer, helping produce things, and they need to be the one to suggest those other items that you can sell. But if that person isn't strong or comfortable saying, you know, the numbers that they have to say when you're like a licensed and insured business, then the person, you know, it's not going to be a good experience from a sales perspective. So that's why right now I'm the best at sales on my team. So that's the role I fill.
Yeah, they call that a feel-good consultation.
Yeah.
Yeah, the homeowner asks for something, and for your sales rep to feel good about it, they discount it. We're already here. What they internalize it to
Right.
make them feel good, not the customer to feel good.
And the thing is too, I actually find it's more like the person who's doing the sales really needs to understand the numbers and how you get there, because it's not so much about something costs something. It's about, this is what it's going to take to get this task done with me. And that number might be different with a different company, because they're set up different, or maybe they pay all their guys cash, or they're not running things the way they're supposed to run them. And so, you know, for me, it's going to take this amount. And like for that person who's like communicating that information, they need to like really understand like, what is the overhead cost? You know, what is a burden rate with people? How much are you paying for workers' compensation insurance? If they don't understand that stuff, they're going to have a hard time telling anything is like $5,000 or whatever, because they're going to think themselves like, well, I wouldn't want to pay, you know, $1,000 for a door installation. It's like, well, yeah, you wouldn't, but like they would, because they value different things than what you value. So that's like right now, like that's basically why I do most of sales.
Yeah.
100%. Yeah, if you have a salesperson that's at a certain like economic level that they're comfortable with, and they're dealing with a higher end customer, they don't feel comfortable making a sale at the higher end level, because it's beyond their comfort zone. They can't relate to it. So the
100%.
only way to get over that is beat in the numbers.
Yeah. And I work with my technicians on that too, because, you know, we've had some big jobs this last year. We had like a $70,000 kitchen and bath remodel.
Right.
And, you know, they see that high dollar amount. But what they don't see is all the stuff that goes on the back end of it. You know, some of my technicians, they inherently understand because they've kind of like ran their own thing. But like, you know, I have to reiterate with them, you know, I'm not getting $70,000. Like, if we play my cards right, I'm getting $10,000, you know, or, you know, something like that. Like, that's might be what I take home if we do everything right. So, you know, just making sure that they understand that. And then also too, like with the transparency, it comes back to like looking for opportunities to like bless your workers also. So like when you do have those wins, that we're all sharing in the wins together. It's not just like, oh, finally we made good money on a project, I'm keeping it all to myself. It's like, okay, let's look for opportunities to, you know, do like a performance pay thing, or just like give them a cash bonus or something like that. So then that way we're all winning together.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. Yeah. You might have made, say, 10,000 on a particular project, but what they don't remember is the 3 jobs before that you know, you didn't take home a paycheck.
Yeah, yeah, exactly. And I've definitely had some jobs in 2024 where I paid more than the customer to get that thing done. And you know, they don't the technicians don't, you know, don't think about that stuff, but my bank account sure does. So you know, you know,
Yeah.
that's how it is.
Yeah, it makes it okay on tax time when you don't owe a whole lot, but
That's true.
it don't help the checkbook when you're trying to pay the bills.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, and I think that's something as a business owner when you have you're almost inclined to have that situational awareness of, you know, stay focused with the client and what the goal with the client is. Like you said, whether it's the upsell or including something that, hey, you know, they asked a question on the field at the job. Hey, is this something that you can work on also? Okay, now I'm putting on my sales hat instead of the technician hat. And then after that, it's like, hey, you guys did a great job. I want you to come back in a few months. Now it's continuous, you know, work that you might be working on, and being able to bring that information back to you, or even just, you know, kind of being able to talk to the client right then and there. That situational awareness of, you know, being able to wear those separate hats. How do you project that? How do you put that onto your technicians, your guys out there to kind of understand when they should bring something back to you or just handle it right on the job site?
Well, I kind of give them a decision making threshold. So for the technicians, I don't want to get a phone call for something that can be solved for $150 or less. That's including your labor. So like, don't call me about it. Tell me about it later. But I don't even want to be bothered with it, because you know that, first of all. So you start there, and then for the upselling opportunities, I tell them, if you can look at something and you're confident that you can do it in a day or less, we know we charge $900 for a day or $500 for a half day. Just, or if it's just like a couple hours and you can do it on the same day that you're currently there, like, you know, I give them like an hourly rate to go off of, and then they can, you know, maybe instead of selling someone for that like half day, they're like, hey, I can knock this out for you in like an extra hour. It'll just be, you know, this amount extra, but I keep it at that day or less threshold. But I tell them, you know, if it's not something that you have the tools or materials or to do like right now, and you really don't think you can do it in a day or less, just give me a call. I'm happy to drive by and like do a check-in with them while you're still there. So like you can be working, I can look at your, you know, what you're doing, and then talk with them about their project. And then also too, what we started doing is we started using like yard signs that say like, hey, we're working in your neighborhood, here's our number on it. And that just kind of puts them thinking in, like, we need more work, like let me help get more work. So it just kind of frames things for them where they're always kind of seeking that next opportunity, just to kind of help with the sales and the burden of like getting all the leads coming in and converting those leads.
Hmm. I love that tag team effort where it's like, hey, you're working on a project, you might be busy, but you saw something at the corner of your eye, like, hey, this is already kind of the job that I'm working on. It's not what was bid, but hey, come by, talk to them while I'm already working. I like that connection right there.
Yeah, and it makes it make a little bit more sense. Like it's a more natural flow. So I'm not like there to sell them on something necessarily, but I'm there to kind of inspect and touch base and just because we really like to like build relationships with the people that we're serving. And I feel like that it's more of a family feel if it's he's still there and I can check in with him, see if he needs anything also. And it's just a little bit smoother of a delivery than like setting like an appointment time and I come up with my hello and fancy tape measure and iPad and then it just it kind of feels a little weird.
Yeah,
Yeah.
start checking
One
things
of the
off
things
of the list.
one of the things
Yeah.
I didn't get to do very often, but when I was in the field, knock on the neighbor on either side and say, just want to check with you, make sure we're not disturbing you too much. Are the guys too loud or anything? Is there anything going on that I should be aware of? Just starting the conversation from that perspective opened up opportunities.
Yeah, I love that. I want to get to a point where we're like doing like the door hanger thing. I think what you're talking about is like the next level up. But I think those habits are like really important when you're this small because you really should be like for example today on the bigger job because all of my guys I gave them these like big magnets to put on their car that's like hey I'm at work,
Yeah.
here's my number because the HOA kind of got on us about the yard signs. So, anyways, neighbor walked by, saw the magnet, and then we were able to basically do this exact situation, go add on a little bit by doing something quick for him. But those things are free. And well, sort of, maybe not the 10 minutes of labor it takes someone to go over there or whatever, but those are the good habits that like help build your foundation. So you're not just like paying for clicks or, you know, $100 a pop and thumbtack or whatever. So,
Yeah.
I
You're
like
getting the
that.
more serious customer.
Yeah, exactly. And it puts a face with it too. It's not just like a company. It's funny to me, because it's my company. Like people just see like a brand and they assume it's like really large and it's just like big conglomerate of construction or whatever. They don't realize it's just like a dude in his back office and like seven guys that are driving around their own personal vehicles. you know,
That's
but
what you want,
Yeah,
yeah,
perception.
yeah,
yeah,
exactly.
You're
yeah,
huge.
and that's the main thing, the perception of being a big company, but the progression that you've made since last time we talked, and the adjustments that you made. It seems like the systems, your SOPs have definitely been enhanced through whether it's CRMs, and then even just like your touch points. I think we talked about it in one of the last few episodes where you have to be in front of someone at least maybe 10, maybe 15 times now before they actually say yes. And those touch points of those yard signs, those magnets, the tag teaming at the job sites, that just continuously keeps you and your company name in their eyes and in their ears, and wherever they might catch you first and say yes to calling you.
It's crazy. It's crazy how much effort you need to put into booking a half day job, but you got to do it. It's just a part of the game.
Yeah. Yeah. And you were talking about your CRM system. I think I may have caught a few videos of one shouting it out and saying how you use it. Talk about that program that you're using if you're comfortable with doing that.
Oh yeah. So Jobber is a CRM I use, and it's really set up well for companies that operate like my company. So there's a couple different models I feel like are in the home service space. There's one like I talked to this what I forget his name, but anyways, he's basically like there's like service techs where like you call, they send someone out there, they'll give you a quote on the spot with like a pre-built price book. And Jobber, you can do it for that. All the functionalities there, but it's really set up really well for my type of business where you're like, vetting them, getting pictures. Like it's a little bit slower of a sales process. So I use it for pretty much every part of my business. I use my coworkers, they clock in and out through there. All their touch points are GPS tagged, so we can see like where they're uploading notes, where they're clocking in and out of. And that's something my wife, she does the payroll, and she like makes sure everyone's like on the job site when they're clocking in and out. There's a marketing suite where you can like really quickly, you guys have heard of MailChimp, right?
Mhm.
So they have basically like MailChimp, but it's like way more simplified, because I feel like MailChimp, you could get in the weeds, like making some, dumb email that like 1% of people even open. So like they have like a way to send your whole list an email, and it looks professional. Invoicing, quoting, our job requests all go through there. The thing I'm most excited about now with Jobber is that they I use another system to manage my job, my requests that come in. And so I use like a Trello board where basically my requests, they go into Jobber, they get zapped over to the Trello board, and all the different stages in the sales process, I'm moving them down the line. And then my office staff can see, if there's notes about someone, or hey, they're going to let us know, or they have a question, you tag somebody. But Jobber literally just created that in their platform. So it just removes a whole system out of my process, which is like totally killer, because the the one thing I've noticed about small businesses, it's so easy to just like create like a bazillion programs that you're using, and you don't use any of them well. So like the using Jobber and all the functionalities in Jobber is really gonna be your key to being efficient in the business. So they just released a sales pipeline feature where it's essentially is exactly like the Trello board I created. But all our guys, they upload before and after pictures in there. There's been so many times the last, I don't want to say so many times, but for example, we had a property management company. They said, hey, you didn't leave, or you didn't leave your key in the lockbox. And they're like, you left it on the door. And I went into my pictures, because my guys are trained to take pictures of like their pathway to and from and how they left the property. And I was like, oh, I'm sorry, but our last touch point was I put the key in the lockbox and it's by the stairs, but you're telling me it's somewhere else. Like that couldn't have been us. And totally saved my butt. I didn't have to pay for a locksmith, because, turns out one of their other vendors did it, but they just go to me because I'm super responsive. But and it all lives in there, so I can recall data from a while ago. They have a really awesome like KPI dashboard where they can tell me my average ticket the last 30 days, the last 90 days, my conversion rates from like request to quote and quote to job. They have all that stuff. It's like got nice colors on it, so all of us knuckle draggers can like read it and digest it. So it's been a total game changer. And anytime someone tells me that they're not using some sort of software like that, I'm like, oh man, this is like the lowest hanging fruit and like the easiest money you can spend. So
Awesome. I think we're going to cut that clip out and send it to the owner. We've met him a few times.
No,
yeah,
shout out to Jobber. I think Jeff, you and I, we've seen that at expos, or even just seen it through the time of the podcast. And we've
We
heard
met him
nothing.
at IBS.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, and we met a lot of those guys, and just the way that they may or may not have come from the industry of construction, but their understanding from technology, from like you said, from us type of guys that just want to run a business and do the jobs, then that's like you said, the best thing that you can probably do for your business, and especially if you want to grow.
yeah. I mean, like it's at a revenue level where you're I don't know, like 10 million or less. Like this type of I mean, it checks all the boxes. I've actually tried other softwares before, and the thing that I feel like Jobber succeeds at, where other ones kind of drop the ball in, is when it comes to managing the financial part of it, because none of this stuff makes sense if you can't tell, like, if your employees can't upload expenses, if that information isn't easy to obtain. And so they do the best job, I feel like, of keeping all that stuff organized in a digestible format. But I mean, there's so many other softwares that can help people. Like if you're doing a business and you don't have a software, like you have to get a software.
Mm-hmm.
Like it's a non-negotiable.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. With technology now, software programs can do so much that even a decade ago they couldn't do.
Yeah, totally.
Yeah. And I mean, to talk a little bit about your team, what's the age range that you guys have right now? And with that age range, are they like you said, reluctant to use the new technology, or are they adapting to it? What's that response?
So we have anyone from a 26-year-old to a 65-year-old. There's no option to not use it and not use it efficiently. It's actually built into how I compensate them. So like a portion of their hourly pay every day is called the do your job bonus. And all you have to do that is show up on time, upload your before after pictures, and upload your notes. So like I'm setting the bar real low, but they have to use the software. And when guys start with me, actually we just hired a gal technician too. So when people start
Nice.
with me, they get a little grace. I'm not like I'm not I give them a little leeway there, but if after a week they're not uploading pictures, like it's not going to work with us. So, and I tell people too, if they're like, oh, well, I don't really know how to use this smartphone thing, I'm like, it's not going to work with my company, because like we're going to be technology forward to give our customers the best experience and help me manage the business better. And if you can't do it, like, or be one, it's like, dude, you can remodel a bathroom, but you can't upload a picture on your phone. Like, give me a break.
Tell that to Jeff. Jeff, what's your response?
I got asked for help.
That's
But
what
I do
he,
it.
yeah, that's what he's got me for. Yeah, that's right. Jeff is always willing to learn. We're always willing to learn. We're not
Yeah.
learning, we're dying. That's what we've always said.
Yeah.
So that's good. I mean, just the piece of technology, that's always a good thing, because, with AI being out there, there's always, people can, like I'm sure Jobber has some sort of artificial intelligence included into it, but it shouldn't be anything for people to be scared of, especially if you're going to be in the construction trades, where it's going to be adopted one way or another. One, to help the sales process, the job process, the customer experience. And it sounds like it's, from what you're implementing into your process now, it's absolutely just helping it out, the technology.
Yeah, it makes it smooth. And at the end of the day, these are the things that make a small company seem massive. Just the fact that people, when like one feature that's in our CRM, that when you are on, the technician's on the way to the property, you can just hit a little button and it'll just send them a text. It's like, hey, so and so is on the way. Like those little things make you seem like you're so much larger. Back when it was just me and like one other person, I was using Jobber, I was doing that and showing up in like nice t-shirts, and they thought we were like a large company. So you have to do those things and take advantage of it, because I mean it's not expensive. So like, definitely do it. It's only going to help you.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. That's good to know. You got from 26 to 65, that can use it. So people, if you're listening, incorporate the technology into your business, incorporate it into your lives. It's good. You're going to have to learn it no matter what.
And it's not just about signing up for things. Like I have a habit where I see a problem, I'm like, oh, let me just toss some money in it, and it'll be fine. Like if you're going to use something that's like a CRM, like Job or whatever, use all the features in it. Like don't. I hear this a lot with people that they'll say, oh, well, my guys don't use it or whatever. It's like, what? Like, dude, make them do it. Like they have to do it. You have to do it. You're basically paying for this thing. You're paying for like a super nice work truck, and then just like driving 10 miles an hour with it or whatever. I don't know what's a good analogy.
Yeah.
But but you got to use all the features, and because they're all there to help you. If you're not using a feature, it's like literally because it doesn't make any sense for your business. But most of these platforms, like, you can use all the features to help you thrive.
Nice, solid advice, Greg.
Yeah. Yeah, it makes a big difference for sure. Makes a big difference. You're paying for it, you got to utilize it. I mean, use it to its full potential before saying no to it. And like we said, I mean, we always say it, if you're not trying to learn more of how you can advance or just make things better, then one, you're just gonna stay stagnant, and if that's what you're okay with, then that's what it's gonna be. But I feel like you implementing these new processes and technologies, even for your technicians, they feel more of a piece of fulfillment or empowerment, where they feel a little bit more free, where instead of maybe it had to be a little hovering moment of, hey, send me pictures, hey, do this, you're bugging them to get these things done, but now it's part of the process. If you don't do it, then you can't work with us.
Right, exactly. And that there's definitely been technicians that we've had to let go because of it. And that, like, example would be like one guy finishing, he's like the last one to touch a job that was like a 2-week long job, and then he didn't get any, like, literally no pictures, like, oh, sorry, I forgot. It's like, dude, if I forgot to pay your paycheck, how would you feel about that? Because that's kind of what this is to us. Like, if that person wasn't there to, like, inspect your work, and I had to send them pictures and I didn't have any, they're not going to want to pay me. So how do I know that you were there and you did what you said you're going to do?
Yeah, makes sense. But like you said, yeah, sometimes people just don't think that way. They have no way of knowing when they have to put that hat on or think that way. But but by then it sounds like it's too late.
Yeah, exactly.
That's
So
cool.
what do you think, Greg, as you made some terrific steps growing to where you're at now? How do you think the next couple of years will play out for you?
The next couple of years, it'll start with having someone that's managing the actual production process. That'll free me up to have a little bit more space to really invest some time into business development. I feel like our business, it's a really good business model for this city. Do a company that's able to handle a remodel, but will 100% come to your house for a couple hours to knock out a half-day job. Like, that's something and there's not a lot of companies that will do that. Even like the big general contracting companies, they just want to do like those $100,000 remodels. They don't want to do what they think is a small, like, $5,000-$10,000 job. So I think the growth potential is unlimited for us in this city. It's just about honing in on our product, which is the service that we're providing, keeping it at an elite level, and then just growing the technician base. And then I really want to. Last time we were on a podcast, I talked about, like, investing more into training. That kind of got tabled in this last year or so because just there was other things I needed to focus on. And so I really want to turn things back into, like, training people to be better or learn more trades at, like, a high level. So that at that point we're, like, growing our own technicians. Cause right now we're kind of, I don't want to say, like, hamstrung, but we're hiring people that are already good at things and testing them in that, making them prove it, and then, like, putting them in the field. But it'd be so much better if we were, like, home growing our own technicians. And then, which is hard because there's a lot of different things that we do, but home growing these people so that they're, like, really looking at this as, like, a career opportunity, a place that they can stay. And that builds you, like, a solid base for, like, really exponential growth, I feel like. So, I hope in the next, let's see, like, 3 years, I like to get up to 20 technicians. We're at 7 now. So that kind of puts you at a company that's about, like, 28 to 30 employees. So with, like, the support staff and all that stuff. So that's where I like to be. But more than anything, I don't want to try and grow too quick. I want to, now that we kind of got things, we righted the ship. I want to, keep doing it, keep doing that, the doing jobs that people like, working for great folks. And then, not taking so much, not trying to, I hate that word like scale, because it just means, to me it means like you can only scale if you can just like essentially pour gas on the fire and it just explodes. I want to have that like that steady growth where we're not, putting ourselves at risk or anything like that, and that our product doesn't get compromised, and that everyone's like happy with their job. So
Yeah, absolutely. I love hearing that you want to basically keep your standards nice and high and make things a good work environment for your people. I mean, there's definitely thresholds you get. I mean, everybody has different ones, but if you throw a $100,000 manager job in there, how much more business do you immediately got to do to be able to make that payroll for him?
hmm
You know,
hmm
they'll have a little bit of an impact when they first start, but you know, do you push it to where you've got half of it, three-quarters of it covered, then you make the move, or start off
yeah.
small? Those are tough decisions that, it's not an easy math equation either.
And there's like it's an investment thing, right? Like you're like, okay, so I'm going to invest in this. I actually tried to hire an operations manager position, and then just the once I started working with the gentleman, it just really was not a good fit, and so we had to make the decision early. And then it kind of made me like reevaluate. Okay, like why am I hiring this position? Like what other ways, like, can I lean on my people a little more, give them a little bit more responsibility, and then it would take kind of the edge off of feeling the need to have someone like watching over that. Because basically we were slam busy when I hired this person, and then we've been fairly slow the last couple of weeks, and it's like, okay, well, if we had that guy working now, we wouldn't have a ton for him to do. It'd just be like, working on systems and stuff like that, kind of creating busy work or whatever. So, that's why I want to get to the point where it's like, okay, no, we actually need this because, they're going to be busy. Their salary will be covered. It's not going to be a by the hip decision to just like hire this expensive position. Maybe we can outsource some of the other things I'm doing that are a little bit lower, dollar amount hourly wise, and free up my time that way. So
Yeah.
That's fantastic. Yeah, it might be a split role for a while. You got to do project management, but you also got to do some door knocking for some sit now prospecting for sales too.
yeah, exactly.
Yeah, and it made sense, like you mentioned about the scaling part, where it's sometimes you feel like you got to scale, you got to put some gas on the fire, and that's only out of necessity. I feel like if you really need to, where it's like, all right, I really got to get this done. If not, then business is going to go under. But that slow moving progress of growth, I think, is a beautiful thing, because you get to learn so much within the business and about your people, your customers. Just seeing it really flourish slowly, I think, is a key thing too.
Yeah, exactly. You don't want to, and then it's like, what are you doing with the customer base you currently have? Like, how are the people that have already paid you to do stuff? Like, how are you doing more stuff for them? Are you reaching out to them? Well, how are you reaching out to them? How are you staying? You already paid for their leads, so like, are you sending people emails, checking up on how your jobs were for like 6 months ago? Like, those are all freebies. It's a low hanging fruit. Like, you don't need to pay for more leads for that. You can just do it.
Absolutely. One of our previous guests here today, Buzzcaps, brought up a technique that the decking contractors and the fencing contractors can use to stay in contact with their previous customers. And that is, hey, I've got this new product out. It's a cap that goes on the fence post or the railing post, and it keeps the mosquitoes away. If it's right for you, give us a call. The technique that you can use with new products that are out there, maybe not new, but just possibly new to your clients.
Mhm.
You ever thought about, upgrading your, whatever you call it, thermostat system?
Mhm.
Right, right.
You know?
Yeah, I was just thinking as you were saying that, I came across a lighted niche build out that made by Schluter that you can, but like we've been looking for more shower remodels, so it's like, oh, dummy,
Yeah,
I can just do what you did and say I found this. Who wants a new shower? Who wants a lighted shower niche? I'll do your whole shower, but I'll put that in it. So
Yeah.
yeah. Here's a new thing going on with showers. Lighted. Yeah.
Yeah, that's huge. Yeah, those 10 to 15 touch points, of like how many times do they have to hear in order for them to say yes, like now I want a new Schluter.
yeah,
Well,
exactly.
that's
Yeah.
one of those. If you've got 500 contacts that are jobs you've done, one or two of them, that's all it
Mhm.
needs to make that email campaign worthwhile.
Mhm.
Right.
2 or 3 more jobs.
I've had times where I wrote email and I usually like attach an Instagram video, and then that's literally like a $10,000 job. They're like, oh, I was thinking about having this and whatever, and and it was off of something I spent like 20 minutes on in Jobber and didn't really put a lot of effort into it. It's just about showing up, and then that's what makes the difference.
Fantastic.
Huge.
A bunch of solid points that you've gone over today, Greg. I'm super impressed. The growth of where you're at, and a year or so later, it's great to hear.
Just imagine all the things I'm going to mess up between now and the next time I see you guys, and I can talk about it then.
Hey, that's part of growth. You got to
Yeah,
trip a couple times before you get up the steps.
yeah,
Yeah.
that's the key thing behind the Trades podcast too. It's raw, it's uncut. It's perfect to hear, just everybody's standpoint and where they're at in business, because as we know, industries come and go, but the construction industry is here to stay, and it's always going to be something that's needed. And your specific space too, like you mentioned, because of the broad spectrum of jobs you work on, it's going to be almost endless until it's finally, hey, we need to start a new company for Schluters or something,
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. So we're excited, man.
Fantastic.
So let everybody know if they haven't looked you up already during this podcast, how do they find you? Where do they find you? And what's the best way to reach out?
So you can find me on Instagram. It's Huge Handyman is my handle. I'm on TikTok. Our website is hugehandymansd.com. If you need to reach out to me directly, my email is greg@hugehandymansd.com. If you got a job, I'd love to talk with you about it. If you just want to chop it up and talk about construction, I love that. If you're in San Diego and you're another contractor, I love to network with you. Get to know how we can refer each other business. So I'm out here.
Cool. Yeah.
Fantastic.
Just like Greg said, networking is huge. That's how all three of us that are on this podcast right now have literally met each other and known each other. So it's a key piece. So keep an eye out for the events that Jeff and I will be throwing out here in the Southern California area with our NADRA partnership, North American Deck and Railing Association. Not all, I would say all contractors are invited, not just deck specialists or your railing specialists. So
No,
everybody's
Greg
invited.
will do very well at that group.
Yeah, that's why I said it. Awesome.
See you guys there.
All right.
All right.
Thanks, you guys. Appreciate it. Listen to this and share it with everybody that you see today. Thanks, you guys.
All right. See you.